So today I'm going to be talking about this big guy right here, the Mindshift Rotation 50 liter plus rotation. If you've seen any of my recent videos, I have recently gone down a rabbit hole of looking for the perfect hiking bag and actually purchased the 34 liter and also the 22 liter rotation series bags. So I actually fell in love with these bags so much so that I reached out to Mindshift and I was like, hey, you got this bigger version and I really love backpacking and hiking and I would love to see if this thing is capable of a multi-day trip. And they said sure. And not only that, but they made me an affiliate. So I will give the disclaimer that they did send me this bag to try out for multi-day backpacking trips. But they did not give me any other persuasion to say anything during this video. This is purely educational for me and I guess for them to do some testing. So the purpose for right now, I am going to pack this bag full of my camping gear. I have a pile of gear right here next to me. I'm gonna pack this full of gear that I could take on a multi-day trip. So I am leaving tomorrow afternoon to go for an overnighter. I'm just gonna go for an overnight locally here to one of my favorite spots, Falls Cape State Park. It's kind of the closest place. I'm gonna give this thing a shakedown and kind of see comfort-wise, packing-wise, how it holds up, what it can hold, what are some of the pros and cons. If you're a photographer and a backpacker like me, you have probably also found that there is no great camera bag at backpacking and there is no great backpacking bag at photography carrying stuff. So in the past I would carry on my backpack that I use for traditional backpacking, I have a couple, an Osprey 56 Exos and a Z-Pax Arc Blast, and I would carry, I kind of rigged some bags to carry in the front on my chest, and you know, it works well. It's ultra light. This is certainly not ultra light, so if you're looking for something ultra light, stop looking. This is not ultra light. It's the opposite of ultralight, but I do have some ultralight gear that's going to help keep the weight overall down. So I think that's going to be like a good complement to this bag, is that I have some stuff that I think will make this work for the long run. You know, having small gear, less bulky, lightweight is going to help the comfort of this bag. And I believe the packability, you kind of have to get creative in where you put some things. I did pre-pack it the day it came. It came earlier this week and I threw some stuff in it, and just to make sure it would fit before this weekend, before I went ahead and booked my campsite. So I'm gonna pack this thing right now for my trip tomorrow and kind of go through some things that I really like, and well, there's nothing that I don't like about it so far because I haven't actually used it. But I can say up front, just looking at it, it's really well made. It has thick straps. The shoulder straps and hip straps are really thick, especially compared to the other two smaller bags. This one is much more substantial. So, you know, given that whole aspect of it, I think it's going to be able to carry this gear just fine. One thing I did note, I think it would be more suited for like a 3-season trip type scenario. I don't think you would be able to use this for deep winter type stuff. You just end up with too much bulky gear. I can kind of go over some things real quick. I'm going to do like a in-depth walkthrough of this bag eventually too, and compare this to my other backpacking bags and kind of give the pros and cons after this weekend, after I use it through the shakedown. And I do want to take it out this summer when it's a little bit warmer, and I can bring a little bit less bulky gear and that kind of stuff. I don't want to go through the full you know, list of things that this bag has to offer. So we'll just kind of jump right in, and I'll pop the top off. So it has this kind of like brain on the top here, and I'm going to loosen these straps because that's going to be necessary. I could not fit my food bag inside the bag, so I did end up having to put it on top, but this brain kind of will strap everything down. So got a handy dandy drawstring there. So let me loosen up some of these straps here, and this one's got like a clip on it that you can lock it in. So you have this nice big front pouch here, and you have this zippered pouch. This would be used traditionally, I guess, for like a laptop you could put in here, or a water bladder, or there's another alternative water bladder on the outside, and then you have one big water bottle pocket. I was able to fit two 1 liter smart water bottles in here, but I think the trick with this bag is going to be carrying a water bladder, which I don't normally like to do, but I think if you want to use a bag like this, it's going to be necessary, unless you want to constantly filter water and only carry 1 liter, 1 bottle, and just keep filtering your water out of that, or carry 2 liter bottles on the side. I didn't really necessarily want to go that route. So I added a couple accessories here. I'll talk about those in a minute. But the main thing I put in here was a bag liner. So this bag liner in particular is made out of Dyneema. That's probably the most expensive that you could go with it. Dyneema is an ultralight material that is incredibly light and stronger than steel and flies faster than Superman. But you can use like something like a Nylaflume, which is like the absolute lightest. Just Google Nylaflume bag. Or you could just use a trash compactor bag, which is like the thickest bag you could ever like use as a bag liner. The reason you want a bag liner is because this backpack and most backpacks are not waterproof. This bag is water resistant, which means it'll take a light rain and your stuff will stay dry. So the bag liner ensures that if you get stuck in a downpour, that none of your stuff inside here that you don't want to get wet, none of it gets wet. So having said that, I got the bag liner in there, and the bag liner is just that. It kind of fills the entire cavity of the bag. And so from here, I'm just gonna go ahead and start packing stuff in here, and I'll kind of explain what each thing is as I go. The first thing I have here is my underquilt. This is a 20-degree underquilt. Again, I think I explained how underquilts work. The underquilt goes underneath your hammock and is kind of like a 2-part system. So you gotta really shove that down in there. Oh, I'm stuck on some straps. All right, you really want to shove that down in there and compress it. So these are made of down. They're filled with down. They're not made of down, but they're filled with down. So they're extremely lightweight and compressible. This system gets me down to probably like 30, 35 degrees comfortably sleeping at night. This is a 30-degree top quilt. These top quilt and under quilts are made by Hammock gear. They're really, really great. I love them. I only have Hammock gear top quilt and under quilts. These are not necessarily considered ultralight. They do have lighter versions, but the lighter you go with them, they get more expensive. And I'm, to be honest, happy with the weight and packability of this bag, or of the underquilts. So the way you want to pack a bag is important. You want to pack kind of the heavier items close to your back, and in the middle. So you don't want them hanging off the back or hanging off the top, because that's going to pull the weight of the bag back, and you're going to feel like you're falling over the whole day and you're going to be hunched over. So you want a nice, evenly packed bag. So So I'm putting the down stuff in there first. And normally when I would pack a bag, they would go all the way to the bottom. So this is kind of throwing off the flux of the bag because you have the marsupial pouch rotation portion at the bottom with camera gear in it. And then your bag starts like right about here. So I've stuffed this down as much as I can. So now I have my clothes bag is going to go in next. So it went top quilt, under quilt, food, clothes bag. So this bag, I made this, by the way. This is, it kind of is a multi-use. It's clothes bag, and then it ends up being a pillow. I can stuff my puffy jacket in this, and it's a great pillow. It's got like a soft velvet on one side. So I have my base layer, top, bottom, down gloves, down hat, thick socks to sleep in, and a fleece buff in here. I'm actually gonna hike out in my mid layer. I'll wear a hoodie, fleece, mid layer, and probably some kind of undershirt that's lightweight. And then I'm gonna hike in sweatpants. So those are also two other pieces of gear that I'm not packing in the bag conveniently. Being able to wear the sweatpants, that gives me another warm layer to have for the night. False cape, you can't have fires, so that's a very important thing. So I have to kind of pack some extra warm layers to kind of negate the fact that I can't have a fire. So again, every trip is different. This is just going to give you an idea of how much stuff you can fit in this. In my opinion, this is a lot of stuff. I'm saying this is like a 3-season bag. You could get this down to like the mid 30s with what gear you have to bring. As long as you have some lighter weight, more comfortable gear, you're not probably going to be able to fit huge bulky things in here. So as long as you're experienced with packing a backpack, I don't think you're going to have any trouble packing your stuff in here. Even with some finagling and manipulating and getting things right, I think you can kind of narrow things down and kind of make it happen. So clothes bag goes next. And again, every single thing you put in here, you just jam it in there. The next, I'm going to be bringing a pair of down pants. I'm going to shove those in there. It's getting real full now. Pop this up a little bit. And then I have, the next item is my Ghost Whisper jacket. This is definitely an ultralight jacket that is ultra lightweight but warm for its weight. Shove that down in there, and then the very tippy top, I have my hammock here. This is a ultralight hammock made from Dutchware. It's made of an ultralight fabric called Cloud 71, and it's extremely lightweight, and it has a Dyneema bag. Basically, when you go ultralight, all your stuff is going to be made out of Dyneema. Now I'm going to put this down on the floor here, give it a good shove, kind of put my weight into it. And then my dry bag insert is a roll top bag. So I'm going to kind of hold it shut and compress that down and then roll it and give it a snap. So see how much more that kind of compressed down. That should give me enough room to get this top part cinched shut. And then you'll see the top here didn't shut all the way. So there's a lot of stuff packed in here, man. Like there's a lot of stuff in here that I think that, if I was going somewhere where I could have fires, I probably wouldn't bring the down pants. I would probably just bring leggings and have like normal hiking pants. So this trip is kind of unique. This is just my, shakedown for this bag to see what it's capable of, to see how comfortable it is, just to see if I could use it for this purpose. I mean, clearly you can. Like 100%, you can use this bag for backpacking, whether you use a hammock or you use a tent. Certainly warmer months, 100%, you can use this for a 3-day trip easily. So the next area I'll pack is this front pouch here. I got my tarp. This is a Dyneema tarp. This is the Winter Palace from Hammock Gear. It's really cool. It has doors on it and everything. If you're familiar with camping gear, you know Hammock Gear is legit. These are windproof, waterproof pants made by Dutchwear. They're ultralight. They're like 3 ounces. Super great pants. I'm not expecting rain, but in windy conditions, like going out here and you're kind of have exposure, I might go out and take some pictures on the beach at night. You put these layers on, and with all the down in the world, if it's windy enough, it's gonna pull that heat off of you. So this will lock all the heat in. Just having a wind layer. This is a Frog Togs ultralight jacket. So shove those down in, and I could probably, there's definitely more room in this front pocket for like a water filter or something like that. Like I don't have to bring a water filter to Falls Cape. There's water sources there, like spigots, so it's pretty easy. It's kind of like a primitive campground where there's campsites and stuff, but you're out in the middle of nowhere. Like there's privies for bathrooms, but you're just kind of, you're out there in the middle of nothing. Next thing will be the food bag. So I couldn't fit the food bag in there with this amount of gear. So what I'll do is I'll put it on top. This isn't a lot of gear. There's like 2 meals in here. There's a dinner and a breakfast. So normally I would have way more food than this. So again, I think even if this was as full as it would be for a normal 3-day trip, I think strapping it to the top would still be the best option. So, you know, you kind of put it up there and use your brain here.
And then put it in the out. Form your finger, hold it,
and now your food bag is kind of up top there. And these have, I would say, a little bit more room left in them, especially these back ones here. So you could definitely fit more food in there. Like this top part goes up quite a bit more like that. So you could fit quite a bit more food in there than what I have in there currently. So before I strap that down, I want to fill this top brain part with some stuff. I found that it's harder to pack this full of stuff when you already have it strapped down. So some items that you might want to put in this top pouch here. First and foremost, toiletries, toilet paper, wipes, very important. My stakes for my tarp go up top here. And then also my hammock straps themselves. Strap that down, kind of give everything a good tug. I want to sit that forward a little bit probably, and then cinch this down nice and tight. There we go. And there you go. So the next thing and final thing I want to pack, oh, well, I guess I do have a couple other items here. So side pouch pocket here, there's enough room over here. I can shove 2 whole beers. I have this teeny tiny little tripod. This is a really cool tripod, Oben CTT 1000L. It's a little teeny tiny carbon fiber tripod. I'm gonna put that down here. And then also my selfie stick. I'll probably carry this. So on these front straps here, I also added a phone pouch. And then I have this other strap over here. So this came off of another bag. And so it's an adjustable strap that can come off with this clip here. And then it's got a loop on the end. And so what you can do with that is you put a tripod or a selfie stick or whatnot, a trekking pole, whatever, through this loop on this strap. And then you can strap it through and lift it up, this other strap on the side of the bag, and then you kind of have this like holstered effect going on. So 2 beers and a tripod and a selfie stick in this side pocket here is what I'll carry the rest of this stuff in. I'd probably go something more like that-ish. And then I'm not gonna pack my water now. I want to give the water the least amount of time in the bladder so that it tastes the least amount of plasticky. I find those things have a taste to them. I don't use them very often, but the water bladder will go in this side pouch pocket, and then the route of the hose comes out up here and will clip somewhere, probably on one of the shoulder straps or something. So I'm going to pop out the marsupial pouch. So in typical fashion, you have the rip cord down here, and then you just pull the pouch out. You set that down. And so the inside, I've already taken out some of the inserts in this bag, but you can see there that it's pretty giant. I have an R6 with a 24mm lens on it with a lens hood attached and a Sennheiser 200 microphone on it. Put that down on one side, and then take my cook pot and put that down on this side, and my ditty bag. So my ditty bag has like my battery pack, charging cables, extra lighter, first aid kit, some smaller headphones in there, although I'm bringing these headphones, which are super light, Bluetooth and whatever, but I normally wear these around my neck when I hike. It's a lot of beach hiking tomorrow, about 3 or 4 miles of beach hiking. It's not a very exciting hike, so music, podcasts definitely make it more interesting. Ditty bag full of goodies, anything else, my teeth brushers, all that stuff goes down in here. And then you can still see there's a ton of room still in this bag. Like, I mean, I'll probably put like a hat or something in there or whatever. There's still more room in here that, I mean, if you really wanted to get creative, like you could pack like some of your clothing items in here, like other hats or other gloves or your extra pair of underwear or whatever. There's still a ton more room. I'll probably put my wallet and keys in the top pocket of this. But again, I'll go through more of the features of this pouch. It does have like a top zippered pocket and like a waist zippered pocket over here, which this is unique to this larger bag. The other bags don't have the side pouch pocket on it, so that's kind of cool. The last thing I want to do is weigh the bag. So let me put this all back together. I'm going to slide the marsupial pouch back into its home, to its den here. Lock it down. And now let's see how much it weighs. So I'm actually pretty surprised. Oh, well, I guess the selfie stick wasn't in there. But we're at 23.4 pounds of gear. That's minus water and minus the selfie stick. So this is probably adds another pound, so probably up to 24.5 pounds. And then add water. For every liter of water, you can expect to, every liter of water weighs about 2.2 pounds. So for every couple of liters, you know, add another 4 pounds. I'll probably be right about 20 to 28 pounds, depending on how much water I decide to bring. Again, there's water out there, and I know there's a reliable water source there with fresh drinking water, so I don't have to carry that much water with me. I could probably go with just 1 liter, but to save my trips back and forth to the spigot, I might as well just bring a bladder, try it that way. I think ultimately that'll be the way to go with this bag. There may be a time when I hike with it with 2 water bottles in that pouch pocket. I don't know. We'll have to see. That would have to be a summertime trip when I can fit more stuff inside the pocket. And I normally don't bring this giant selfie stick, and I normally don't bring a tripod with me when I'm backpacking in the backcountry. So those are definitely 2 items that I would save space on. So again, I could just bring a 1 liter bottle and just filter everything, just fill that up. If I knew that I was going to an area where there's going to be plenty of water sources, that wouldn't be a problem, other than having to stop whenever you wanted to filter water, or you'd constantly be filtering water and that kind of thing, or boiling it, or you know, whatever. So yeah, I'm excited to get out there tomorrow and put this thing to the test, do a quick little overnighter with it, and kind of just give it a shakedown, see how comfortable it is. I think it's going to carry the weight just fine, just based on the straps and everything. I think it's going to be great. So, you know, we'll get out there tomorrow and I'll have about 5 miles to hike tomorrow afternoon. Should be like late afternoon by the time I get out to the parking area. But I'll kind of check back in then and then kind of get out there and do kind of like one of my normal trip videos, except it'll be more geared towards how this thing is doing, how it's riding per se. So yeah, that'll do it for right now, and then we'll get back to it tomorrow. All right, so we'll see you there.